Welcome to another exciting new episode of talking about Stoicism. And I thought what we would do today is forgo Seneca for one more week and talk about something that was in my mind recently. It's a very Stoic principle. So I'll illustrate this with a personal example that I hope is not boring, but is of interest. So Marcus Aurelius writes at some point, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. And that's a very interesting statement. I find that a very interesting statement, but it's also a statement that took me a little bit of time to fully grasp and comprehend. And I am not claiming that I'm fully able to practice that statement, but I have an example that illustrates it for me and how I've tried to incorporate that into my life. So, as you may know or may not know, but if you don't know, then I'm telling you now. My job is teaching psychology, and one of the things I teach, one of the courses I teach is statistics. And there's a basic course and there is an advanced course. The basic course is required for all our students. And social science students, psychology majors, typically do not have the warmest of relationships with mathematics, and statistics deal with mathematics. Now, what I found very interesting was that I realized fairly early on, I've been teaching that since 2018, that students come into that course with an enormous amount of trepidation and often anxiety. And the reason they're so anxious is because they have been convinced by their teachers, especially in high school, that math is not for them and that they are stupid. That's the only way I can put it, that they are unable to do math and therefore they will never be able to succeed, etc. And the reason that resonated well with me, that type of feeling, is that I myself have been made to feel in high school that I was completely stupid because I did not do well with math in high school. And it's difficult because math is important. It is important. No, I'm not denying math is important. It is important, and we need it. If you are undergoing academic training, you need to have a basic understanding of math. And for psychologists, we are expected to understand the basics of statistics, especially, of course, if we continue into an academic field where we may do research, and you will need statistics. It's just the way science works. Now, because for the longest time I struggled with math in high school, I tried different tutors, and at some point I found one tutor who was actually a math teacher from another high school. And I'm going to say he was older because I was younger, so he seemed older, but I would be surprised if he was not in his early 50s at the time he taught me. So what I'm trying to say is he had a lot of experience. And one life-altering experience for me with that person, Simon, was that at some point I jokingly said, even I understand this, as he explained something. And then he gave me an intense look, and he said, of course you understand this. The problem is not that you don't understand it. The problem is that your self-confidence has been broken down. It was a powerful statement, and I realize now that I teach mathematical concepts without being a mathematician, right? I'm not. I realize now that teaching anything, but especially teaching those kinds of technical courses like statistics or like neuroscience stuff, those courses are about teaching the material, but I would say almost in equal parts they are about teaching self-confidence. If you are told time after time that you cannot do something, then at some point you will not be able to do that thing because you've lost all confidence in yourself. So what I started doing, and here's the punchline, people, this took a long time to get to, but what I'm doing is I'm taking revenge on all the teachers who've told me in the past that I would be unable to do something, I would be unable to accomplish anything. There was a lot of doubt in my high school that I would ever achieve anything, which is funny because the people who told me had master's degree or less, and I have a PhD now. Anyway, the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. I could take that previous statement and I'll say, I have a doctorate, so the students, they don't matter. I am somewhere up here and they're somewhere down there. But I think that is an absolutely terrible way of approaching things. And I could be angry at those teachers who did not believe in me or did not give me the tools to succeed, or because I can say, I really tried. It just wasn't working. And I think a lot of people have had similar experiences. I bet there's a bunch of you right now thinking, yeah, that was what it was like for me, because this is what I see in the students I teach. But instead of emulating what those teachers did to me, I can take revenge on them without having to get angry at them, without resenting them for what they have done. I can take revenge on them by showing students a different way. I can take revenge on those who did not believe in me by teaching students how to believe in themselves. And the fun thing is, that approach really works. And I try to do it in different ways. I try to incorporate a lot of silly things and Star Wars video clips and all kinds of weird little things into the classes that I teach, because that breaks the tension and that shows students that things can be fun. And when they believe things are fun, they relax, and bit by bit they see that they can do it, because everybody can. This is a statement that I use in this context, especially for those students who are very anxious. Listen, if I can do this, you can definitely do this. I'm not a mathematical genius. I never did particularly well. Now the fun thing is, on my final exam, I scored the highest math grade of my particular group of students that I took most of my courses with. And the reason for that was that my self-confidence had been rebuilt. And that's what I want for others as well. That to me is the point. It's the crux of all this. You can show other people how things can be done in a positive manner. You can take revenge on those who did not believe in you by making other people believe in themselves. Be not like your enemy. And that way, the advantage is, you don't have to get angry with them. You don't have to live in the past and think, well, and they did this and they said this and they broke. No, I'm correcting their error by changing my own behavior, by changing the way I approach things, so that hopefully there will be another generation that is taught by me. And I have little ambition in this field, but that generation, I hope, will do a little better. I'm not saying this is going to be a life-changing thing for them. Of course, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is it's little things that can make a difference. And one little thing here is they can see that they do have the confidence, that they do have all they need to succeed. And that's what matters. And that is my revenge on those who did not believe in me. And I have found that to be a great relief, because first of all, I can make a positive difference to the lives of others without me having to resort to feeling bad about the past or being angry or upset about all these things. I can take what was done to me, and this is a very small thing, right? It's nothing big or abusive. It's just a small thing. I can take what was done to me and try to use that in a positive sense. And I found that to be very effective. And there are other ways you can achieve these things. This is a very specific example, but I hope it illustrates the point. What I would like to know is, do you apply something like this in your life? Do you try to not be like your enemies? And if so, if you don't mind sharing it, how do you do it? It's an interesting topic, I find. One that can be beneficial because it can take the edge off of things. It can make things less hurtful or less angry. And it's important. I had a conversation about this once through Instagram with Dr. Coleman, who's one of my pen friends. And he's an associate professor somewhere too. And he said he'd experienced similar things where his instructors, one of them had told him that he did not have what it takes. Well, I don't know. He's an associate professor now, so clearly he did. And he used a very good term for this. He said it's epistemic violence, what we've experienced. And it's the opposite of what a teacher should do. How can you possibly break someone down or blame them for not understanding something? That's insane. So maybe if educators would try to look at things from that different perspective, it's not your students' fault they don't understand it. You didn't explain it properly, provided, of course, that they are making actual effort. Why would you break someone down? Why would you destroy someone's self-confidence? Makes no sense whatsoever to me. So, that's my revenge. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next time. Bye.